Normal Punch is a passive ability that does a number of things, but most importantly, you can roleplay as your favorite anime protagonist with the epic sound effect and visuals it produces. But did you know, this and this have no difference in terms of the power Normal Punch has. It's all eye candy. Normal Punch's strength is based on how far Darkseer has moved in the past 3 seconds. It has a minimum and maximum value for the damage, stun duration, and knockback distance. I have a very interesting point about the minimum damage value that I'll share later, but for now just know that Valve lied to us and this number isn't actually correct. In order for Normal Punch to achieve its max power, Darkseer has to move 1100 distance in the past 3 seconds. If Darkseer were to move half of the distance, 550, he would do half of the max damage, 225. What about if you move with something like a Blink Dagger? Teleporting effects like a Blink Dagger or TP Scroll only add up to 600 range to the distance counter, no matter how big the actual teleported distance was. So although Blink Dagger has a max range of 1200 and the distance needed for max damage on Normal Punch is 1100, you'd never actually achieve that max damage with a max blink alone. It'll only add 600 to the 1100 that you need. You gotta work for that extra 500. Ideally, you'd want to run that 500 distance first, then blink in and punch your enemy to have a higher chance of catching them off guard. Doing it the other way might be a little awkward. When Darkseer moves 1100 distance, there's a visual change on his punching fist to indicate this. His fist can take an even further final form for moving 1500 distance, which has a red fiery spark look. Each level has its own audio intensity, with the final one sounding the deepest and strongest, and also has a different, more emphasized text. But as mentioned earlier, the difference between these two is unfortunately only cosmetic. But you know what's not cosmetic? If you run 1100 distance in real life, whatever that means, then come back and Normal Punch the like button on this video, you're guaranteed to win your next ranked game. Listen, I don't make these mechanics, I just uncover them. Go try it yourself if you don't believe me. Every 10 units of distance Darkseer moves, there's an increase in the damage, knockback distance, knockback duration, and stun duration of Normal Punch, each scaling at their own rate. Now you might be wondering, just how much is 10 units? It's actually quite minimal. To put it into perspective, here's what moving 100 units looks like. This naturally pairs well with Darkseer's Surge, which gives him hasted movement speed for a short bit of time, allowing you to run a good distance in a 3-second time window. Now let's talk about this lie that Valve told us regarding Normal Punch's minimum damage value. Back in August of 2022, 7.32 was released. In this update, it stated that Darkseer's Normal Punch minimum damage was increased from 10 to 50, but it wasn't. It's still 10. I was extremely confused by this when testing this spell, but thanks to some people on my Discord server, we were able to figure out that Valve just never changed this, even though the official patch notes said they did. To be honest, I don't think this is a major issue. Probably why it's been over a year without a fix. It's rare for Darkseer to move so little in a 3-second window to hit that minimum damage. But it's amusing, right? I mean, the official patch notes announced a change, and then someone just decided, let's leave it as is. Maybe the devs have a bet going to see how long it takes for someone to notice. Are there any Darkseer mains out there who actually noticed this? Drop a comment and let me know. Now let's talk about the illusion that Normal Punch creates, which actually has its own unique look compared to other illusions in the game. The illusion is essentially the same as the illusion from Darkseer's ult, Wall of Replica. It deals 70, 85, or 100% of the hero's damage, and takes 200% damage. If for whatever reason you don't have any points in Wall of Replica when you use Normal Punch, the illusion will default to 80% damage, which is between a level 1 and level 2 Wall of Replica. For reference, illusions from a Manta deal 33% damage for melee, 28% for range, and take 300% damage. And illusions from an illusion rune deal 35% damage and take 200% damage for melee and 300% for ranged. So the illusion from Normal Punch is much deadlier. The illusion spawns 350 range behind the enemy's landing position. The illusion can be controlled like normal, but is initially ordered to attack the punch target. And if the illusion is killed, it uncovers a video of mine that YouTube thinks you'll like. Maybe you should go see if YouTube is right. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you learned something new with me.